I think we can all agree there's nothing better when you're cooking than fresh herbs. But we're not going to the store every day to buy them, and a lot of times they end up dying in our fridge. Here's 3 ways that you can preserve your fresh herbs and use them whenever you want. First, we're going to take our herbs and infuse oil. We're just going to put them down into these squeeze bottles. You can use more attractive glass bottles if you want. The vessel doesn't really matter so much. Just whole fresh herbs stuffed down in there. And we're going to pour some olive oil in on top of them. And just slowly fill these all the way to the top. And then all of the oils from the herbs are going to work their way out into the olive oil here. It's that simple. Give it a few days and you're going to have infused olive oil to utilize when you're sauteing and dressings, anything you can think of. Secondly, you can freeze your herbs in any sort of fat. These are done in coconut oil. This is rosemary. We also have in here thyme and sage. And I can pop these out and throw them into a skillet when I'm sauteing, ready to go. Third, we're going to make a compound butter. All that means is we're going to whip our softened butter in a mixer and add herbs to it. Then we'll pour that out onto a piece of parchment paper or wax paper, form it into a log, and freeze it for long-term use. Then whenever we want to bring it out to finish a steak or any other protein, we just take it out of the freezer, unwrap it, cut a nice little disc off, and put it on top of our protein, and it makes a fantastic meal. Throw this butter in here, nice and soft because it's a warm day. We're going to go with a whole pound of butter because I'm a chef and I can't cook in small increments. You know, the ratio of this, it really depends on what you want. You can put in as much or as little as you would like to see. Usually I'm going to put a pretty good amount in and I'll kind of gauge it by the color. You know, when it looks, you know, you don't want to take away so much that it's not going to stick together. You know, it's still going to be a log of butter with herbs in it, not herbs that happen to have some butter around it. You know what I mean? So that's already, the butter's super soft, so that's not a non-issue there. We're going to throw in a little parsley. Got some rosemary here. Careful to keep our fingers away from that paddle. Here's some thyme. And some chives. I really like chives, so I'm going to add a little bit more chives than everything else. And we're just going to scrape around here. See, you can see how, I don't know if you can see. You can see how there's pockets where there are no herbs at all. We want them to be as homogeneous throughout the entire mixture as possible, which is 100% why we're scraping the bottom of the bowl right now to get all that up together so that everything's evenly distributed. That's going to make it freeze better and it's going to make it taste better, and honestly it's going to make it look better. Now once we have everything scraped up from those sides and the bottom, we're going to go ahead and run it in the mixer one more time. And that should be about all it takes. Let's give it a look. See how it's all real nice and mixed throughout there. Okay, now we'll take the butter out of the mixing bowl and just lay it onto this sheet of wax paper. Scraping and getting all that goodness out. And then we want to get it, again, evenly distributed. Try to get the same thickness all the way across. And using the wax paper, we're going to form it into a log. Because I already got this side all buttery, that's why I turned it around to just roll it over and kind of like making a wrap or a burrito, or just pinch it a little bit, fold in the sides here, and just roll it right up. And it's a nice little package. We'll put this in the freezer and it'll last forever. Whenever we want to use it, pull it out, cut off a disc, throw it on something delicious, and it'll be 10 times that delicious. Here is our setup compound butter. We can go ahead and unwrap that. And you can just cut a disc of this off. And classically, this would go on top of a cooked steak right when you plate it. And the heat from the steak would melt it, and the fresh herbs would go all over that steak. But honestly, you can put it on top of any whole muscle protein you want. chicken, pork, it doesn't matter. It's going to be delicious on all of them. So now you know 3 different ways to preserve your fresh herbs. If you try this out at home, let us know, or if you have any questions, ask us in the comments below.